hello and welcome to the Kitchen Design Experts. This is the channel that tells you all you need to know about kitchens, kitchen appliances and kitchen design. Now, today we're going to answer, hopefully, the most important question that you're likely to ask, and that is, how much does a fitted kitchen cost? Now, in answer to that question, some people might say, oh well, how long's a piece of string? Or they might say anything from £2,000 to £100,000 plus. But really, neither of those answers helps. So hopefully by the end of this video, we will be able to give you a realistic, fairly accurate idea of how much you should be paying for your kitchen.
More importantly, you need to be aware of the elements that affect the cost of your kitchen so you can prioritise your budget accordingly and then change that length of piece of string to suit you. There are 5 elements to a new kitchen, those being your cupboards, your worktops, appliances, installation, and don't forget decor as well. Now, each of these is very important in their own right, so we will be splitting this video into 2.
The first video, this video, is going to be about the cupboards, which is possibly the most involved and complex topic, hence it's going to take up a full video. The next video will then tackle the appliances, the worktops, the decor and the installation. Okay, let's start with the cupboards. There are 3 factors that can affect the cost of the cupboards. One is the size of the room that the kitchen's going in. The other one is perhaps the type of kitchen you're going to buy, because there are different, obviously, qualities of kitchens. And the third element that can affect the overall cost of the cupboards is the specification, what the actual design includes for.
Now, Robin mentioned room size then, but that doesn't actually affect the cost as much as you might think, because invariably if you've got a big open plan kitchen, half the room is usually taken up by either a dining room or a lounge or both, and the actual kitchen size wouldn't be too dissimilar as if there was a wall splitting the two and you're just covering a normal smaller type of kitchen.
As an example, look at these 2 plans. They're showing you 2 completely different kitchens, one in a small room, one in a large room. But in actual fact, there's virtually exactly the same amount of cupboards in both of these rooms. So as Josh said previously, the actual size of the room doesn't always affect the cost of the kitchen too much. Now, another reason that you shouldn't get too hung up about the size of the room is you have to bear in mind that the cupboard cost, as part of the overall cost of your entire kitchen, is many times less than 40% of that cost. The other part of that cost is going to come up in the second video, which is the appliances, the worktops, the installation and the decor. And those particular items aren't generally affected by the size of the room.
What's far more important than the size of the room is the type and quality of the cupboards themselves. Now, in the kitchen market, there's really 2 distinct versions of this, one being mass-produced off-the-shelf kitchens and the other being custom-made designer kitchens. But the real skill is knowing the difference between the 2 and how to figure out which is which.
Now, between these 2 types of kitchens, there should be quite a drastic difference in the cost. And it's not just about quality. In fact, you can always be rest assured that with a custom-made designer kitchen, the quality level is going to be fairly high. But in some of the off-the-shelf mass-produced kitchens, they too can be of a reasonable quality. Where the main difference lies is here.
Here we have 2 different types of kitchens. This one shows all of the ranges available in a mass-produced off-the-shelf kitchen.
And this one here is all the ranges of the standard size cupboards of a custom-made designer kitchen.
Now, the one I have here, the mass-produced kitchen, all of the units and carcasses are ready on shelves, basically ready to be put off when they're needed. These can come in assembled or flat pack. The flat pack should be cheaper, but irrespective of which one you go for of those 2, they'll always have the same limitation, is that the choice. There's not quite as much choice in there.
Obviously, when you're dealing with a custom-made designer kitchen such as this, in this book are all the standard sizes. But the term custom-made also suggests that a large proportion of the ranges in this book can also be made to size. And see, if you wanted a 935mm wide drawer unit making, It can be done. There's usually a surcharge for that, but the opportunity is there. And something you need to know is that in some of these custom-made ranges, when you compare costs with the better quality mass-produced off the shelf, there's not that much difference in cost sometimes. And this is what we're really going to be talking about today.
Right, let's get back to what this video is all about, which is the cost of your kitchen. To do this, we're going to use the kitchens that we use as a basis of suggested costs, and that's a German custom-made kitchen. We're in the middle of the range of the custom brackets. Some are more expensive than us, and some are cheaper than us.
So let's bring back the plan, well, one of the plans that we showed you before. This is a pretty typical kitchen, designed around a built-in oven, microwave, hob, hood, and there's a fridge, freezer and dishwasher. The wall units are a mid-height wall cupboard, hence they don't go right up to the ceiling. There is one pull-out drawer unit which is under the hob. Now the cost of this kitchen, if we were supplying it, the cupboards were £10,200, and that's the starting point for a top quality custom-made kitchen.
You can buy a custom-made kitchen for much more than this, but you have to ask yourself, what are you getting extra for that cost? You could just be paying for a name, and you could conceivably add an extra 10 grand to that cost as well. But with this specific design, we don't see a reason that you should be paying that much. So it's safe to say that for this specification of this design, you should be paying between 9.5 grand and maybe 14. So let's call that 11,500.
As a mean average.
As a mean average.
As a mean average. Now then, what we've also got in the market, and we'll not dwell too much on this, is what we call the bespoke kitchen. I'll just mention it now because some people say, well, what about bespoke kitchens? What we mean by bespoke is the type of kitchen whereby if you've got a pale green tea service and you want the door to match exactly in colour, it could be hand painted for you. Or you might want your coat of arms imprinted on the handles. I think you get the idea of the type of kitchen we're talking about. And with these kitchens, the cupboards alone can cost anything from £30,000 to £60,000. But as they are a little bit of a rarity in the market, we aren't going to touch on these too much in this particular video.
Crossing the divide back to the mass-produced section of the market, if we're talking about the assembled part, not the flat pack part, you can expect to pay between £5,000 and £9,000 for the cupboards, so let's say £7,000.
As a mean average.
As a mean average.
Now, to talk about the flat pack elements, they obviously will cost less than the assembled mass-produced kitchens, and roughly I would suggest that a cost of between £3,000 and £5,000 is fairly typical for this type of product. So again, using an average figure, we're going to call it £4,000 for a flat pack mass-produced kitchen. There are some of these kitchens that might be available for less than £3,000, but similarly to the bespoke kitchens we mentioned earlier, they won't be a large part of the market. So again, we're going to discount those for the purpose of this video.
So let's start with our comparative quote. Here it is. We'll be adding all the other costs in the next video. Remember, this is just for the cupboards. We're putting the average totals for the 3 different types of kitchens we discussed. They are based on that original layout we showed you. However, that brings us on to the third factor of a new kitchen. We've discussed the size of the room and the type of kitchen. Now we need to talk about the specification. And what we mean by specification is what's going on behind the doors, and also the price bands.
Now, the price band can be quite important, and let's just discuss why. Take our range for example. We have 8 price bands. Now, the only difference between price group 1 and price group 8 is nothing to do with the cupboard or the hinges or the drawer boxes. It's purely about the door. And this is because some doors are more complex to make. There's more labour involved, there's different materials involved. However, what you've got to remember is this doesn't necessarily affect the quality. You'd like to think that a price group 1 kitchen is less quality than a price group 8, but that's not the case. To give you an example, in our price group 1 we have a flat laminate door, in our price group 8 we have a shaped lacquered door. And the price group 1 kitchen is quite a bit more durable than the price group 8. So don't always think that price bands reflect quality. They don't. So in the previous quotes that we've just shown you, we've used a mid-price band to achieve those costs. So what you need to bear in mind is, dependent on the price band or the range, the costs could be a little bit more or a little bit less than what we've quoted you there.
So let's look at what's going on behind the doors.
Right, back to that original plan, and let's put a comparison plan up next to it. And yes, you might say it looks like it's exactly the same kitchen design, and it is exactly the same, except for the inclusion of the red writing. Now this indicates additional features that we've included in the specification, such as the 2 corner cupboards have had Le Mans corners accessories put into them to make accessibility easier. We've added an extra drawer system, we've taken the wall cupboards from standard height up to the ceiling, and we've added a pull-out unit underneath the sink base unit which encompasses a recycle system.
These additions could easily increase your cost by 20%. Yes, 20%.
And it's also worth bearing in mind that the actual accessories themselves come in various qualities, and you'll tend to find that the better qualities will be included in the custom made designer end, and the cheapest accessories will be used in the flat pack markets. So this 20% goes across the range. You can see why when you add it all up, the actual designer kitchens will start to cost quite a lot more than the flat pack kitchens.
So specification is clearly a vital part of a new kitchen, and if you are at the moment shopping around for a new kitchen and comparing 2 prices between companies, do remember to double check what's going on inside, because you do need to make sure that you are comparing them on a like-for-like basis, because as you can see on the plans, they've got the same layout but one costs 20% more, and if cost is a defining factor of your new kitchen, then you do need to be as fully informed as possible.
So we'll add this other kitchen to our quotation. So you've got 2 prices going on here, one for the standard specification kitchen and one for the high spec kitchen. Now realistically, most of our clients will want at least some of the additional accessories in their kitchen. So what we'll do for the purpose of this video, we'll take a mean average of the basic kitchen and the fully accessorized kitchen to give us finally 3 totals for the 3 different types of kitchens. And as you can see, we've come up with £4,400 for your flat pack kitchen, £7,700 for your mass produced but rigid kitchen, and £12,650, pretty accurate figure that, for your custom made designer kitchen.
So we're well on our way, but we do have a long way to go yet. Video 2 will be coming out hopefully within 2 weeks, where we'll be discussing the price implications of your installation, worktop appliances and decor. If in between time you could do us a great favour and subscribe, hit the bell, like, do everything that we need to make the channel successful, that would be wonderful.
Indeed, I like all that. And at the beginning of this video we did promise you that you'd be leaving with a realistic price of what a fitted kitchen might be able to cost you, and we really do hope that we've managed to achieve that. But obviously if you've got any questions at all about the topics in this video, bang them in the comments below. Look forward to seeing you again with our second video, and until then, it's bye bye from me
and bye bye from him.
Bye bye.
Doctors, ready? Piece of string to suit you.
Length of string, really. Don't forget your decor. And basically this video...
There are 5 elements to a new kitchen, that being the... What?
It grew on me. God. There's nearly coffee time.
I'm sweating so much.
I know.
Let's start with that. Hang on.
I'm going that route.
Okay.
I'm going that route. You just tell me when you've done it.
Okay. Let's start with our comparative quote. Here it is. We'll be... No,
I'm going for coffee.
Okay.
You just take your time.